The fourth seal is a pale horse. And the pale horse, when it appears, it will kill 1/4 of the Christian, or we call the martyrs. So today we have more than 3 billion believers all over the world. Or maybe on that day we may have about 4 billion, let's say about 4 billion. But 1/4 of them will be died. So meaning to say about 1 billion believers will be martyred, will be executed, will be killed when the pale horse appears. It talks about the Antichrist and the people who against God and the Christian, and they begin to kill the Christian in such a very horrible way. And that's what the Bible calls in Matthew chapter 24, verse 15, abomination that caused the desolation. That would happen at this moment is the midpoint, or we call the 3 years and a half. At this 3 years and a half, the Antichrist will begin to declare himself as God, sit in the temple and demand the people worship. And if you don't worship them or the Antichrist, they begin to annihilate and continue to persecute and kill all of the Christians. And this is where the fourth seal takes place. At that time, Jerusalem will be surrounded, and Antichrist will stop the daily sacrifice. And for the Jewish people, when you stop the daily sacrifice, they are going to revolt for sure. They would not want that happen. And the apostasy also happened. Not only about 1 billion people being killed as a martyr, but there will be a lot of people just deny God and give up their faith because the persecution was so strong. And at that time, the people being required to have the mark of the beast, or we call the 666. And today, you already see it's already applied in certain places. And today, you only put a chip under here or somewhere in your body, and you don't need to carry anymore your ID or your passport, your bank account, or your bank card or your key, because that chip alone can serve as a key for you to open your door, as your bank card for you to go to the bank, as your ID, so that when you travel on the airplane. And on that day, after 3 years and a half, or in the middle of the Great Tribulation, if you don't have that mark of the beast, you will be rejected. You are not allowed to sell or to buy anything. But of course, we know that God always has His way. Maybe at that time, U.S. still love God, right? Or the United States still love God and try to protect the children of God. Or certain country in the world, as a Christian country, will protect the children of God. So there's still a little bit the way out for certain people. But for so many people, they will face with even death and martyrdom. And at this moment, you are going to see the Antichrist, the false Messiah, and the false prophets begin to perform so many lying signs and wonders. And they show themselves as so powerful, just like the Antichrist declare that they are God, right? He is God. And that's why many people come to worship Him. And at this time, the image of the beast was set up in the temple. The Antichrist demand worship, and the great persecution will take place.